baby. Go down. There's no point. What does it take to get this fight stopped?
Thank you, Jim.
Save yourself. Go down. Go down. Go down.
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing.
Then that shows that you're a neophyte in boxing. You know nothing about boxing.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
But you still got 4 losses, son.
Easy breathe, baby.
You better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son.
We are the heavyweights. We don't pull in punches. Round 1. Fight!
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Stiggers. Alongside me will be Rudy Gutierrez and Robert Alexander. What's going on, guys?
Not much,
Hey,
man.
what's up, guys?
All right. First thing I'm going to jump on right away, the topic of Ronda Rousey. I know she's not in boxing per se, but she did get beat up by a boxer this weekend. Why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about that fight, and what was your thoughts on it, Rob?
I mean, you can go multiple ways on this. The first thing that I really do want to point out, which is true, and it's a valid point, she did take the sport in a new direction to even a place where boxing couldn't take women's sports too. She took it to a main event caliber fight, pay-per-view caliber fights, and her numbers are good. So she did a lot for women in the sport. She did a lot with women's athletics, period, when she represented us in the Olympics when she won those gold medals. So she really has accomplished a lot in her career. For people to be downsizing this as her first loss in her career, they're crazy. They're just biased because she has a lot of potential. She has a lot of marketability, and she has a long way to go. That being said, in that realm, with it being MMA, mixed martial arts, you got to stick to what you know in that sport. And it's gotten her to the point of her career where she was the biggest superstar in the sport. And she went away from it because of all the fans, because of all the critics and everything out there saying she couldn't stand up to a boxer. You do have to give her credit. That's a gutsy move to try to do, but you know, she tried it and it didn't work. I honestly believe if she got another shot at it that she would stick to her game plan and stick to what she knows, and she'll be able to submit Holly Holm. But a true boxer like Holm is, you can't stand up. You gotta stick to your game, and she didn't, and she lost the fight, you know, in a very bad way. That knockout was very brutal.
No, right. I know. I think everybody agrees with that. My question to everyone, and now to you, would be that, you know, they keep having boxing versus MMA and saying that MMA is harder to do. My whole thing is, yes, they say, MMA fighters always say that boxing is only part of what they do, and I fully agree with that. It's only part of what they do. The problem is they only know part of boxing. As I said in my piece earlier this week, Timothy Bradley admitted he still don't know everything there is to know about the sport of boxing. Do you think it was the boxing side of Holly Holm that ended up beating Ronda Rousey? And was it her fundamentals that allowed her to win? Because Ronda Rousey was going around saying she could beat Layla Ali, and her trainer was saying that he could make her to where she can get a gold medalist in Olympics for boxing. I don't get it. So was it the boxing that allowed Holly Holm to win?
But that's the thing that the point I'm trying to make is stylistically she fought a boxer's fight. She stood up with her and she lost. So, no, she can't win the stand-up game against a true boxer. Can she win an MMA event if she stuck to her game and got her on the ground and submitted her? I absolutely believe she can. So, from the boxing aspect of it, because Ronda Rousey chose to go that route and stand with her, she lost the fight.
All right. That's the way I saw it. I mean, I saw the same way you did, but she did try to take him down twice, and the second time she got taken down herself. So, honestly, if it's a rematch, I still might put my money on Holly Holm. I always bet on the boxer, for the most part, anyway.
Right. I think that, in MMA and the UFC, I'm not one of those fans who downplays MMA because I'm such a big boxing fan. I believe that there are athletes that, like I've said in the article before, there are athletes that are on different levels in the respective sports. In the MMA realm, I think Ronda Rousey is one of those athletes. I think that she can dictate the fight if she chooses the right style and she chooses the right way to go about it. But I believe she made a mistake in this fight. So I think that she learned her lesson, and a valuable one, and I really think that this is going to better her career. And I see that she can be a boxer now because she's going to be able to make the adjustments. I think that she's that caliber of an athlete.
And we'll see if there is a rematch or not. But let's go ahead and go on to this weekend's mega fight between Canelo Alvarez and Miguel Cotto. News broke today, just 4 days before the mega fight, that the WBC is actually stripping Miguel Cotto for what they say is a violation of the rules and regulations. Rudy, can you shed some more light on that for us?
Yeah, man. I mean, pretty much, Cotto's getting stripped by the WBC for not cutting them their check. They were demanding their usual sanctioning fees, and I believe there were $125,000. And then since Triple G was Cotto's mandatory, in order for the belt to be on the line against Canelo, apparently there was an agreement with the WBC with Suleiman and Cotto that he had to pay a step aside fee for Triple G, but that amount was never stated according to Cotto. There's an interview that he gave. He's stating that he assumed or somehow he thought he was going to have to pay $325,000, and then all of a sudden today, on the WBC is requesting $800,000 as a step aside fee for Triple G, and that's if you tally that up, it's like what, $1.1 million. So Cotto said, "Fuck it, I'm not paying that."
Wow. In that case, I don't blame him. However, I mean, he is the person that elected to get by Gennady Golovkin to face Canelo Alvarez. Kind of see that you have to pay that fine. I mean, if you say, "Hey, I'll give you this amount of money, step out of the way so I can fight this other dude," I think that's on you. And however, I can see why he doesn't want to pay the $1.1 million. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and that's what a lot of, like, for example, Oscar De La Hoya took shots saying that Cotto is a disgrace to the sport because, like what you said. I mean, he picked the fight. He wanted Canelo over Triple G, and so pretty much everyone on Golden Boy side is like, well, if you wanted to fight our guy, you made the agreement with WBC, and you should man up. But now it's going to become he said, she said kind of type of argument.
Yeah, because the WBC, I mean, like it or not, the belt being on the line makes the fight worth more money. That's part of the reason why there is so many damn belts in the sport. They bring more money to it. I mean, it's a world title fight. Now it's not, essentially. However, Canelo wins. He's still able to win the title. It just won't be for grabs, and Cotto is no longer the champion. If that makes any sense.
and if Cotto wins, then automatically Triple G becomes the official WBC middleweight champion.
Yeah.
Which if I interject in this conversation here, we're going to have another different argument to settle, because you know where I stand on this whole event. I don't really think that the sport should be about titles. It should be about, we'll put it to you like this. The way that the sport has evolved, it's not about titles anymore. It's more about money. And Cotto decided to keep the money and lose the title. That being said, it's also about the fighter, and the fighter taking charge of his own career. He wants to choose who he wants to fight when he wants to fight him. Therefore, he doesn't, he said it in the last telecast that he's really not a 150, he's really not a 160-pound fighter at all. He's really at 154. I know what you guys think. He shouldn't be taking those fights at that weight class if he's not, but he makes strategic moves to fight people that he can at that weight that he feels comfortable beating, and he has beat.
So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. So then why not if that's the mindset? I mean, why not vacate the title when he won it against Martinez? You know what I mean? It's sad that boxing, like you said to me, it's sad that boxing is now just about the money and the fame. I mean, I guess a lot of people can say, it's easy for you to say you're just a fan, you don't live off of it and whatever. And they might be right, but I mean, these guys are cashing in on a shitload of money. If it's just about the money, then why make it a big deal that you became the first Puerto Rican to win 4 titles in 4 different divisions? I mean, if the titles are meaningless, so then why fight for them?
Rudy, who's fighting the fights?
The fighters.
Why? Exactly. So why not let them make that decision if they care about the belts or the money? Why give it to some WBC people here to give money because they want to dictate who you fight and when you fight them? Because I mean, you get it if you get it in a cage with a lion, you know what you're going to get into. I mean, you're not going to walk in a cage with a lion and say, "Oh shit, I didn't think this fucker was going to try to eat me." That's where I'm coming from. If that's the mindset where I'm the fighter, I'm fighting, I want to dictate my own career, cool. I don't have an issue with that. So then, don't align yourself with these sanctioning bodies. I mean, if that was Cotto's mentality from the get-go, so then why not just beat the shit out of Martinez, which he did? Be the first Puerto Rican to win 4 titles in 4 different divisions and say, all right, you know what? Titles don't mean nothing to me. Here's your title back. I don't want anything to do with you because I want to dictate my own fights. You know that the sanctioning bodies are going to have mandatories. You know that the sanctioning bodies are going to try to fuck you over with all these sanctioning fees, so why align with them?
Yeah, go ahead.
You have a valid point. You do have a valid point right there. I have to agree with you on that aspect. Go ahead, Lucas. Sorry.
No, I'm agreeing with him. I mean, the problem now and what I had with this fight when it began is you have 2 guys fighting for a middleweight title. Neither guy really plans on or wants to be at 160. It makes no sense. How are you going to fight for a title you're not even going to fight at? The weight of it makes no sense. Neither guy wants to fight at 160. Not Cotto, not Canelo. I think Canelo is more likely to fight and defend at 160. But he still mentioned that if he's going to fight GGG, it's going to be at 155. He's going to have to come down and wait because his body is not ready for 160 yet. Well, if your body's not ready for 160 yet, why are you fighting for a 160-pound title? It doesn't make no sense to me. It is very angering. Because what's he going to do with the belt? Does he plan on vacating it? And that's a question that I wanted to ask during the media conference call. However, due to other stupid questions by other media, I refuse to name names, I was not able to do so.
And the fucked up shit, Lucas, if you asked that question, they would have probably cut you off. Because these fucking faggot-ass boxers don't want to answer these fucking shit. They just
No. And Canelo was asked similar stuff like that, like who he plans to fight, and, everything was just, I'm not even thinking about that, and I refuse to answer that. All I'm thinking about is this fight coming up, and it's such a big cop-out. It is. I mean, you can give a fight and be like, I'm not looking past Cotto, but, you know what I mean? You can always still answer that question. It's such a fucking cop-out. It is. But
and that's why I meant, and that's why I meant when Rob said, boxing is now the mindset. It's the money, the glory, and call me what you want to call me. I mean, that's the sad state of boxing. The titles don't mean shit. Fucking, there's a shitload of vultures in boxing. There's a reason why it's not regulated. Everybody just wants to feed off of everybody, and that's why now you have the alphabet soup of titles, and you got like fucking 20 champions in one division, and it's fucked up, It
is, and I strongly believe, like, I love boxing. We all are here talking about it right now because we love the sport, but honestly, I've said it before, I mean, I believe the sport now is 80% business, 20% actually the sport.
Well, I mean, you always can get rid of the sanctioning body and the titles all together.
We'll never get rid of all the titles now. It's too embedded. It's going to take somebody to basically purchase all of the commissions, and even then, some are considered nonprofit. So it's going to be hard to get rid of them all. I don't know if it'll ever happen. But the way that it could end up happening is that you could have one true belt, such as like if PBC ended up buying everybody and became a monopoly for boxing. Then you could have one true belt and just have like a PBC belt. Other than that, there's not really a way to hold, one true belt unless you just hold one above the others. Such as the WBC or the WBO, you just have one belt that everybody considers is that belt to have. But that's still not going to be an actual thing. It's just going to be, a mindset that everybody has. Let's go ahead and go into some of the predictions. Rob, you can go first.
Well, bottom line is I'm a Miguel Cotto fan. I like Miguel Cotto even more than I like Floyd Mayweather, and that's saying a lot compared to all the times that I've stuck up for Floyd, especially on here, all the countless arguments that I've had for Floyd. I still would pick Miguel Cotto over Floyd Mayweather. But when you look at these fights like this one coming up here, it really is the biggest moment in Miguel Cotto's whole entire career. This is a fight as big as any fight. He's probably the biggest one he's ever fought, being that he does have a good chance at winning this time. I think his biggest attribute is Freddie Roach. I think that's what he needed, something in his whole career. He needed a trainer who can match that intensity. He needed a trainer who can keep him focused on one particular game plan and follow through. And he now has that, and he's done real well with Freddie Roach, and it's not just his first time. So that's a huge advantage on Cotto's side. On the other side, I don't think that Cotto can, as much intensity and pressure as Cotto brings, I don't think that he can really, he cannot match Canelo's power. And that's the biggest attribute to me that Canelo has. I think where Canelo's faults are at is in his trainers. I think that he needs more bigger names, a better more professional trainer. Trainer really that's not going to pull any punches when they go into his fights or into his game plan and let him know what he's doing wrong. That being said, I'm going with the veteran here because I think that the experience in the ring will help Miguel Cotto be able to will out this fight, and he's going to have to will out this fight. I think there are going to be times where he's going to have to take a risk. I think there are going to be times where he's going to be hurt, and he's just going to have to weather the storm because Canelo's going to bring it. So really, this is really going to tell us how good Miguel Cotto really is as a boxer. And I think he can show everybody that, and I think you guys disagree. And I'm hoping that he proves me right in this one. I'm picking Miguel Cotto split decision.
Okay. I respect that, and I agree with as far as the experience go. I think that's going to play a big factor, especially early into the fight. But I think Canelo's heavy shots are going to start to weigh on him. Now, I fully expect Miguel Cotto to outbox Canelo for at least the first few rounds. And Canelo, people start to worry that Canelo's not going to be able to make it, and he's going to bounce back. And it'll look something like the Margarito stoppage. But I expect a late round stoppage for Canelo. I think eventually he's going to catch up to him. Cotto definitely has the smaller body frame. Cotto, has the smaller body frame. Is he going to be able to put those bats on him and wear him down? But it's going to take a while. Eventually, Cotto's going to get out into deep water, and he's going to drown. I love both guys, and I think it's going to be a fight of the year. Make no mistake about it, Canelo definitely struggles with boxers. Now, Cotto's kind of mid in between. He's a boxer-puncher. But he does move a lot. And Canelo has problems with that. He had problems with it against Trout, had problems against Lara. And he's going to continue to struggle in this fight. But I think this fight he will finally overcome it and be able to solidly win this fight with that stoppage. But pass it over to Rudy. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's a fight. I think that in my opinion, it's still a 50-50 type fight. Both guys, I believe, have the tools in their arsenal to neutralize their opponents. I mean, a lot of people are giving, the edge factor to Canelo because of power, and then other people are saying, no, in this fight, the experience is going to be an important factor. But I honestly think that both guys, they have advantages over others, and then they have, weaknesses that each fighter can exploit. Having said that, I mean, I think that in this fight, Canelo, I think, because of the style of Cotto, the way how he walks, he steps in, the way his guard is, I think Cotto's style is tailor-made for Canelo's right uppercut. And I think that's going to be a crucial punch for Canelo. If Canelo wants to be effective, if Canelo wants to dictate this fight, he's not going to be able to. He can't trade hooks with Cotto. Cotto's hook is a lot more crisp, a lot more accurate, and whatnot. But I think Canelo's power with his right uppercut. I think that's going to be a key punch in this fight. If you guys look at the way Cotto fights, a lot of times he's coming in with his head down, but his guard is a little wide down the center. And hopefully, since I'm going for Canelo, hopefully his camp studied those tapes and measured that punch, because to me, I think that's going to be the punch that's going to be decisive if Canelo's going to win. My prediction is pretty much, you know, I'm a root for Canelo. I've been riding with Canelo for a while. I told everyone that Canelo was soon gonna, put the pedal to the metal, if you wanna use that analogy, and start fighting the dudes that everyone said, oh, Canelo's always gonna keep him away from them, and now he's fighting them. And Cotto-Canelo was a fight that I've been asking for quite some number of years already, and finally, we're a couple of days away, and I think Canelo's gonna take this fight with like a mid-fight, 5th, 6th round knockout with an uppercut.
All right. Not only did you predict it, you predicted the punch was going to do it. I like that. We don't do that a whole lot here on the Heavy Bag. I appreciate that. Rudy, after this training camp, and you've seen him improve, we've talked in the past about him needing, or he should have at least, a different coach and trainer. We said in the past he did have a lot of yes men in his corner. Do you still feel the same way?
Definitely. I mean, he looked great with Kirkland, but you got to understand, Kirkland is he's not your most intelligent and most technical, boxer out there. He looked great. He was able to weather the storm. They prepared Canelo great for that type of fight. But, I mean, Miguel Cotto is a different animal, you know what I mean? The dude's not a future Hall of Famer for nothing. I mean, you can talk shit as much as you want about Canelo, being a diva according to Martinez and the catch-weighted situations and whatever, but you gotta consider the fact that when Cotto was a welterweight, I mean, the dude was a monster. Those body shots. Honestly, that's the punch that I'm afraid. Being a Canelo fan is that hook. Cotto's hook is just it's a thing of beauty. You know what I mean? The body punches that he can throw, following them up with that left hook to the head. I mean, it's definitely a dangerous punch for him. And we all saw what Cotto's brother did to Canelo years ago. He rocked his ass, and I'm pretty sure Cotto is a stronger puncher than his brother. So I mean, it's definitely it's going to be a tough fight. I still think he has yes men in his corner, but they've got him this far. They got him to the point that he's a superstar now, and if he beats Cotto decisively, I mean, then it's with whatever defects and lack of that these trainers have, I guess it cancels out. I mean, if they work wonders with him, and doesn't mean that they could do that with another fighter.
Right. I mean, we don't really know of another fighter that they've, trained, Eddie Reynoso. I mean, I'm sure they have a stable besides Canelo. My problem is you don't hear about any of them.
You know what? To be honest with you,
eventually it will catch up. But go ahead.
To be honest with you, I don't think they have a stable of fighters. I think they're the only fighter that they've ever trained professionally. I think it's Canelo. At least a professional fighter that's at this level. I can't guarantee you that they've trained, because Canelo comes from a boxing family. All his brothers are boxers, but they're
right. They work with Canelo's brother, though, right?
That's what I was leading. I don't know if they work with him, because a couple of weeks ago Canelo's brother fought, and Eddie Reynoso Sr. weren't on his corner. So I don't know if it's because they're in training camp with Canelo, but
that's what I would think and assume, but who knows? You know, maybe they're not training him
They
anymore.
might have just followed him. If I could imagine, they probably had a stake in Mexico and just followed him through his pro career.
Okay, now I'm going to ask this question, and either one of you can run with it. But a couple weeks back, Timothy Bradley defeated Brandon Rios and surprised everybody by knocking him out. Spectacular fashion. I think Bradley was automatically discredited, saying that Rios was done. And maybe that's true, but who knocks out Brandon Rios? I mean, shit, Alvarado could hit him with a brick, and that dude don't fall down. But getting off topic here, they're talking about Canelo, if he wins, possibly facing Bradley on that HBO card. Max Kellerman and Lampley were both kind of hyping that fight. What do you think about that fight happening? I mean, what happened to GGG? They automatically canceled that out.
I'll attack this problem. I mean, it's utter bullshit if that's the case. I mean, you gotta. I mean, I'm a fan of Canelo, but I'm also, first and foremost, I'm a fan of boxing, and I don't think any boxer out there, including Floyd Mayweather or anybody, out there, is above boxing, at least in my perspective. To just even consider that Bradley can be a possible opponent of Canelo, it's to me it's freaking ridiculous. And to have HBO,
enlighten me, Rudy, why? Enlighten me real quick. I need evidence from you. Why?
Why? Because Bradley has no business right now going up to a junior middleweight or anything of that matter. Bradley still has a lot of great opposition as a welterweight. Bradley is. I'm not taking anything away from Bradley, right? But he has a lot of fights, a lot of opportunities to solidify his career as being one of the greats in the futures to come as a welterweight. I asked you this question: what business does he have going up against Canelo? Aside from the money.
You just don't think he can even take that power?
No, I'm not saying that Canelo's gonna mop the floor with him. Absolutely not. I'm just saying, what is the point? Why even consider Canelo, who's more of a middleweight now, to go down as a junior middleweight to fight a welterweight? Like, what's the logic behind that? Obviously money, but other than that,
I'll give him this if it happens. Okay, in my eyes, this is going to be 2 pound for pound top 10 guys going at it. And who else can you put him in with right now? That's another pound for pound fighter. Not really a lot of them out there that Canelo's going to get in the ring with besides Golovkin. Those 3. I'll give it to Bradley, though. That motherfucker's fearless. He said he'd go up to 160 and fight Golovkin. That's a death wish for his height, because he looks stocky at 147. I think it's a death wish to go up to 160. His body does not need to go up to 160.
I mean, that's because Bradley is a freaking G and a freaking fighter. You know what I mean? And you can respect that. But I mean, it's just like it just doesn't make any sense to have a fighter like Canelo, who obviously is probably going to struggle to make 154, and it's already, more at the middleweight now, to come back down to fight a dude that's 147, who has a lot more to do in that division. You know what I mean? To me, it just doesn't make sense.
Rob, do you agree with that?
I agree it doesn't make sense, but for a different reason. I honestly don't think Bradley can take that power. He's proven to have problems in the welterweight division.
He does with power you're talking about?
Yeah, he's a hell of a fighter. He's able to outbox those guys, and he has a great heart.
Who do you have problems with? Who do you have problems with, bro?
Ruslan.
No, man. I say the exact opposite. He stood there toe-to-toe with Ruslan. Didn't nobody do that?
And he's going to have to do the same with Canelo for it to even be considered a great fight.
I don't think he has to do it to be considered a great fight. I think Bradley has the ability to outbox him and at least make it competitive. The problem will end up being the size advantage of Canelo. Now, Rios came in at 170, which is ridiculous. That's a severe weight limit for him. I mean, advantage, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it didn't matter at all. Bradley completely negated it.
To add to it, I mean, I think for Canelo's team, Bradley's a dangerous fighter. And for Canelo's team to even consider that fight, they're fucking idiots because let's say the fight does happen, and let's say Bradley outboxes the pants out of Canelo. What does that do to Canelo's career and legacy? You just got beat by a smaller dude.
Yeah,
no in the ring with. I mean, I think there's more credibility in a loss between Triple G than with Bradley, honestly.
I agree. I think they want that fight, though. They want that fight that says, hey, I can kind of do it all. You know, I just beat up Kirkland. I'm going to go after Cotto, and then I'm going to go after, you know, Bradley, who beat Marquez, one of the Mexican greats. Maybe he wants some payback for the Mexican people. I mean, all power to him. I'm surprised we're even talking about it, to be honest with you, because if anything, I think a Golovkin fight is actually better for him in his career, win or lose. I think Golovkin's style fits Canelo better because Bradley's a boxer and he's going to have problems with it. Bradley moves a lot more than Cotto does, so we will see how well he handles Cotto. If he doesn't handle Cotto's movement well, Bradley may end up winning that fight. And that's going to do a lot of damage to Canelo's career right now. Oh, like you said, a lot. He's going back a few steps because everybody still kind of doubts him. He's on that border. This is that fight against Cotto to see if he's going to go up or not. And if he wins this and then he goes down and wait to fight Bradley, or Bradley comes up and then he gets beat by this short, stocky Bradley, is going to do some damage because nobody respects Bradley for some unknown reason.
I mean, in reality, I mean, there is in this fight, like I said, by no means am I trying to downplay Bradley or anything, but if that fight happens and Canelo beats him, what does Canelo get off of it? Oh, you just beat a smaller dude. You're going back to a couple of years ago when you were fighting a welterweight and whatnot. You get beat up by outboxed by Bradley. What are you going to get off? Yep, you're a bum. You're always protected by the law. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. So it's a lose-lose situation for Canelo, in my opinion.
I agree. It's really a cop-out. Is this supposedly talks to replace the Golovkin talks, or is that the hope maybe? That he's not ready to go up to 160, so he's going to fight somebody that's moving up from 147? Or
talking about fighting Golovkin. Neither one of these guys have.
I think the problem also, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, either one of you can take it from here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Bradley's kind of ran through the roster for Top Rank. They have nobody else for him to fight that's even Golden Boy for the most part. He's going to have to go and fight somebody that's either higher weight for Golden Boy, like Canelo, or go to PBC. And I'm not so sure PBC's willing to do business with Top Rank or with Golden Boy.
They have ran out of opposition aside from whatever they decide to do with Terrence Crawford.
Apparently Terrence Crawford and Bradley are friends as well, so it's a fight that may not get made ever. And I would like that fight. Bradley versus Terrence Crawford would be a very great fight to watch. But fortunately, it's something that we may never see. But with that being said, like I said, there's really, I mean, they're talking about another Pacquiao fight.
Right.
There's nothing else left for him, and unless Marquez comes back, and Marquez wants a rematch, but from what I've heard, Marquez doesn't want a rematch with Pacquiao or with Bradley. Rudy, have you heard any more about Marquez? Is he going to be coming back soon? I heard he wasn't done, but we don't hear anything.
The only thing I heard a couple of weeks ago, as you guys know, Marquez, he's a commentator in ESPN Deportes in Mexico for Golpes a Golpes, which is a boxing show in ESPN. And the last time I saw him there, he talked about how his knee, I believe, was still a little sore or whatever, so that he didn't know if he was going to fight, this year, or he was going to come back sometime in 2016. So his comeback is still in the air.
Yeah, I mean, the last I heard, Aaron went on to say that he would fight at the end of 2015, but that's highly unlikely. So looking at the early 2016 at best. He said he doesn't want a Pacquiao fight, but I mean, a Bradley fight could definitely happen again considering no opposition there. But so, Rudy, let me come to you with another question for you and for the night. I want to ask you, do you think what Canelo will do if he does go to win and your prediction comes to fruition? Will he fight Golovkin? And yes or no to that, will he continue and hold the belt at 160? Does he plan to fight at 160?
To be honest with you, the way the way people are talking and everything, I highly doubt that if Canelo wins, he fights Golovkin right now. Even Canelo himself has said, remember in the post-fight interview with Kellerman, that he plans to fight Triple G, but not right now. And I think he's gonna do that. I think, unfortunately, for us, that we would love to see that fight, we will have to wait. Win or lose, I think he's more of a middleweight now. I think he's struggling to make 154. I think he's outgrowing the division, and I do believe, unfortunately, I think he will be fighting at a middleweight, but with catchweights. Unfortunately, I mean, catchweights nowadays it's like a fashion trend in boxing, and unfortunately, it's some of the shit that we have to learn to accept.
Yeah, unfortunately, so he's not going to do it with the belt though, because Golovkin is the mandatory. So even if Canelo wins it, if he does not fight Golovkin, he will be stripped.
I'm Mexican and everything, but the WBC, it's a Mexican type of organization, and if Canelo wins that belt at 162, they're gonna do him favors like there is no tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's just the honest truth. So
I see what you mean.
If he wins that belt, that they're gonna put pressure on him fighting Golovkin.
Well, I can see that happening, but hopefully they do, because that's one of the other mega fights left to happen. And
they'll do it maybe after he successfully defends the title 8 times or some shit.
I don't know. Hopefully it comes to fruition, but we had some good predictions. I'm looking forward to the fight for next week's show. Hopefully that uppercut lands for you, Rudy.
If that's the winning punch, then I'm buying the lottery ticket, man.
Well, for Robert Alexander and Rudy Gutierrez, this was Tough Talk Tuesday. Join us again next week.
All right, buddy.